Welcome to Wisdom Talk Radio, a collaborative community of explorers in conscious living. In my own journey, remembering the truth of who I am has been I'd have to say, the foundation for everything, but certainly for living my purpose and for living with joy, for having the feeling of joy in my own life. And in the 35 years that I have been teaching and mentoring others, facilitating this kind of remembrance has been the quantum leap that brings everything else that people say that they want. Really, abundance, joy, love, health, a sense of purpose, clarity, ease. So I say all that because my guest today is really all about going beyond what we thought we knew to claim the fullness of what is possible. So stay tuned. You will not want to miss this. I'm Laurie Seymour, host of Wisdom Talk Radio and CEO and founder of the Baca Institute. Head there to discover your quantum connection with your inner guidance by taking the Quantum Connection quiz. We're each designed to connect with Source differently in our own unique way. And knowing your own style is the first step of aligning with your inner guidance at a deeper level than you ever thought was possible, to have that kind of sense of inner direction in your life. And it becomes the secret to having abundant flow in your business and your personal life. Mm-hmm. At the age of 12, while walking in the woods, my guest today, Paul Hanna, had his first mystical experience. 4 words that were spoken to him from a voice beyond his own: aspire, detach, wisdom, love.
Yes.
They became his credo. Always aspire to be better. Observe with detachment rather than become entangled or invested in an outcome and from material things. Seek wisdom always and live with unconditional love for oneself and for all. Today, as a speaker, author, healer, and master teacher, he strives to educate people about their own ability to cleanse toxic thinking and stuck emotions, to achieve a new level of energetic and spiritual awareness. And he is also the author of the most recent book, Remembering Qualities of Your Soul, Joyfully Living Your God Self.
Thank you.
Welcome, Paul. I am so delighted to have you here. Dr. Paul Hanna, welcome.
I'm inspired to be here. I want to thank you for connecting, allow me to be here. Be a light to shine bright on the receptive minds here.
Exactly.
Because
we're going to talk about those exact things. So, but just before we started the recording, you and I were talking, and you talked about how your own patient said to you, Dr. Hanna, you have to stop hiding out. and that you have been on that journey. And I said, wait a minute, I want to talk about that. Don't say anything more. Because I want to talk about that on the recording, because so many people are hiding out. And I've been one of those. My clients often have told me, this is crazy. You are the world's best kept secret. Why do you not have people, rolling out the doors to come and be around you? Wow. So would you speak to that place of stepping into the light?
Yes, I'm smiling because it seemed like you were telling my story when you just said yours, because it's very simple. It's very similar, because I'm gonna start off with everything's energy, and we have 2 sides. We have our talents, we have our gifts. And the talent, you have to go to school, get certified, all of those things, And I'm qualified, certified as an MD, and I was doing quite well. I'm doing quite well. I was getting happy, comfortable. And that's part of the problem. You get too comfortable. too comfortable, then you get stagnant. So one of my patients said, a lot of my patients, and they say, Dr. Tanner, we love you, but the world should know who you are. That was a kick in the butt, you know. I said, wow. Then a news station came to me and interviewed me, and she said, why are you still here? Why am I still here? I mean, people should know who you
And
are.
where was the here when you said
In the office? Because I'm in the office, you know, she said, why don't people know who you are? You know, like I'm the medical director of several places and I'm happy. You say, no, no, no. Why don't people know? So in a way, those two things really pushed me to start looking at stepping away. To step away from talent is very comfortable. Take a lot of courage, a lot of
And I
confidence.
don't think you step away from it really. I think you bring it forward.
Yeah,
And it's like you bring all of the different experiences that you've ever had into a new expression.
that's totally, you got to integrate it. But my motivation at that particular time, I was hiding. So when I was hiding, I knew that. And the patient read that, he said, oh, I'm always an MD, but I'm more than an MD. I have my gift. My gift is that I integrate that with being an MD. And you look at how to utilize your gift to enhance the wholeness of everybody. To enhance the wholeness of anyone, you got to enhance your own wholeness. You can't do what you don't have. You must be. You must be. You should have to be human being. You got to be. So don't be fake. That well, you tell us you're not doing it. So I had to be free. I had to be who I am. I had to embrace my thumbprint. Out of 9 to 8 billion people out here, no one have my thumbprint. I have to have the courage to show my light, show my gifts. So I started on that and appreciate people. So you know what? You have a special gift. They say, what gift? So we all have a gift. Why do you think your thumbprint is different from everybody else? Why do you think it's different? Because you have a gift. And sometimes to live that gift, so many people that I encounter is affected by what we call conformity. What I mean by conformity, you conform to your immediate environment, be it your family, your community, be what it is that you're conforming, but really that's really you.
You're conforming to the expectations and the limited vision.
Yes.
You know, if your family sees you, and they can't not only through their own eyes, and if they haven't opened, if they haven't remembered who they are, then they have no ability to see you.
That is correct. So you're off into a generation of conformity that becomes very challenging if you don't have an inner sense of worth. You have to have an inner sense of worth. So you know what? To remember being responsible, you have to go to remember something. You got to be responsible to go inside, to remember you have a quality, you have some ability. You must go inside. So you can't just remember without being responsible. If you remember you have this gift, now the question is, do you have the courage, the confidence to be that gift? So many people back off to the conformity of feeling, this is my family acceptance, I have a nice job, I have this. But deep down, you know you're really not happy, you're not joyful. And so therefore you keep going that way. And that you don't live your maximum. You can't radiate, you can't not be that sunshine.
Yes, yes. And I wonder if you've had this experience of, I've had a lot of clients who've been extremely successful.
Yes.
And yet something starts to fall apart. Either their marriage falls apart, or they get sick, or they just feel that sense of a hole, you know, of a hole within themselves that they don't know how to fill because they've been so focused on looking outside rather than inside.
That is totally correct, because the energy, when you do that, you cause a stagnation of your energy. So if you tend to have fear, the energy becomes stagnant in your kidney. You have kidney disease, you know. If you have anger, it becomes stagnant in your liver, you know, or eyesight, those same kind of things. And so, so all those, what you say is correct. Doesn't matter about the money. If you stagnate your energy by repressing yourself, you have problems. Stagnation causes inflammation, causes disease. But the disease is, do you have the courage to get out of this? Because all disease starts in the mind, you know. You have the courage to look at it. So the first step, take courage.
Yeah.
You always look at yourself. So that was one of my first lessons in metaphysics, you know, from medical school. But I went to a lot of inner schools, you know, and he said, son, can you put a microscope on yourself? I mean, all yourself, all your bodies, your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, your spiritual body. No, son, which one are you attached to? That's a mistake. That will hold you down. They have to all be balanced out. Balance all your bodies, all of them. So you got to go inside, look at you, and be honest about it.
And I love that you talk about what you call divine receptivity.
Yes.
I talk a lot about our capacity to receive and the need to receive. And so there's two things, and I want to start with one piece of that. Because divine receptivity is more than what just more information can provide. So you're not just giving people information about, oh yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that. That's a limited dimension. So totally. That divine receptivity, could you speak to that? The power of that?
Well, the power of divine receptivity transcends the physical body. It goes beyond that type of mental, emotional body. There's something beyond that. And what is that? So I call the divine. Be open to that openness. And I teach people, truth is unchangeable, changeable, but we all have different degrees of truth in our awareness. What that means, Dr. Hannah? I say, if you take a bucket and go down to Lake Michigan, what you have in there is water. That's your truth. But are you open to more truth that's bigger than yours? Are you open to it? Are you open to that? So that divine receptivity, then you can glow and flow. Otherwise, you would not grow. You got to glow and flow with that. And
I love that. Are you open to a greater truth?
Yes. Because truth, there's no argument. Truth doesn't have to prove itself. The question is, are you open to a bigger truth? Now we see the water. You only can bring down a 5-gallon can to the ocean. Do you see more water? Do you want to have a bigger container where you can receive more? That's receptivity. Some people to get deep with them. I say, well, is this what you feel? Is this what you believe? Is this what you think? Is this what you know? Are you affixed on all of those things? If you say, this is my feeling, just say, this is my feeling, but I don't know. This is my belief, but I don't know. Let's deal with what we know, and we move from that. If we're not having the honesty to say, I don't really know this, this is what I feel, this is what I believe. So you're
stepping into the unknown. You're allowing yourself to step into the unknown, which is where you allow the receptivity.
That is correct. And I'm teaching people to open up to that. So the first one, I said, you take courage. And put a microscope on yourself to be honest about you. You say, you can really say, what do I feel this? Do I believe this? Be honest. Say, I don't know this, but this is my feeling. Do you think your feeling might be an error? So your feelings,
or that belief that you got handed down to you from 6 generations.
But did you think it might be an error? Did you think it might be something different? I'm asking a question. Did you think this is absolute? That's the doorway to being in honest this kind of way,
So I'd love for you to speak to what you just said about absolute truth. I believe there is an absolute truth.
Yes.
So many people that I have this conversation with will say, well, it's just your vision of truth or my vision of truth or someone's, it's only within our own eyes. And yet I've experienced how as I open up to new frequencies, it's like there's a new frequency of truth. And it's like, oh, I didn't know about this.
Yes.
Now I do. And I still know that there is something more. And that's where our own inner guidance comes from, is that place.
Totally agree with that in regards to, I say there's a universal consciousness. And I'm one of the speck in that consciousness. I'm open to that universality. How big is that? I have no idea. But I do know there's a universal one energy, one source, one breath, one energy. So I believe in that universal oneness. As I said, with the water going to the ocean, I got one bucket, but they keep expanding. They're expanding. So I keep that, listen to me carefully. I keep that relaxed receptivity open. I'm dogmatic. Because everything alive flows and grows. Everything dead, get rigor mortis, stiff and dead. So you have to be flexible. You have to be relaxed and receptive.
Yes.
And I'm giving you very true words here. I'm telling you, One, you need courage.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I said you need to be honest. Then I say you got to be relaxed and receptive. Because without receptivity, guess what? Nothing on this physical plane happens. So when a human is born, the egg and the sperm, there got to be some receptivity. When you plant a seed, the soil got to be relaxed to plant the seed. You got receptivity there, you know.
When I breathe, I have to receive my breath.
Yes. Yes. So
and let that move through and then express.
That relaxed receptivity is there. So those things I'm talking about step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Have the confidence, be honest, be open, say this what it is, be relaxed to feel something higher frequency. And also that comes down to the quality of water, you know, which is very humble and flowing.
Ah.
You know, as I talked to you earlier about when you shine, glow, flow, it's very important. Those are very nice rhythm, got rhymes to it. No, but it's much deeper. They have universal laws, the laws of energy. We're dealing with divine. The sun is divine energy, but it's so powerful. Give us energy, but also it helps us transcend all the isms, sexism, racism, any kind of ism. Sun doesn't matter. It's going to shine on you equally, not because you this way, you this way. No, no, no. Sunshine is consistent.
Period.
Sun
shines, period.
It's pure. So that's why I say, do you have divine love? Do you have sunshine love? I say, when you have some sunshine love, then all your ism goes away.
So any separation, any feeling that you're better, you're worse, you're
goes away.
All of that
goes away. Dissolve is dissolve, you know. And so that's why it's so important to ask yourself that question. To be honest, do you really have sunshine love? And look around yourself and be honest. Go in the bathroom. My metaphysics teacher, go in the bathroom and be toe curling honesty. My God, be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to, don't judge yourself, don't judge somebody else. Just look at you. That's it. You have the courage to change that. Because we know everything's energy. And based on your persistent thought can conform any manifest reality out here. That's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the shine like sun is very important.
So you talk about the importance or the magnitude, really, of remembering the qualities of the soul.
Yes.
How can we deepen that?
It started with the first, you said something very, how can we deepen the remembering? Number one, do we have a burning desire? Do we have a burning desire? And that desire would do what to you? It would make you receptive beyond your concepts.
Yes. Because the burning desire says there's more than I already know.
Yes, yes.
It implies that.
Yes. And you say, well, wait a minute. Let me, do I have a burning desire? Do I have a burning desire? That when you have a burning desire, you can't sleep at night. You're gonna work. I got to work on this. I mean, you know, like going to medical school, like no one in my family ever went to medical school. They wouldn't thought about it. When I said I'm going, they thought it was funny. I said, well, when I worked at my master's of IIT, I told my professor, well, you know, I'm going to medical school. He laughed. He said, you going to medical school? I said, yes, I'm not getting a PhD, sir. Even though I was accepted for a PhD at the University of Wisconsin. I said, I'm not going for that. I'm going for an MD. He said, you go for MD? I said, yes. And he said, if you do, I'll give you Grey's Anatomy, that big book, you know. But what I'm saying of it is, I had a burning desire that transcend all the generation issues, all kinds of the racial, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You have a burning desire. So when you ask me how do you do it, first stage, do you have a burning desire? That desire opened up receptivity, relaxation, continuity, create all those things opens up when you have a burning desire. I'm gonna get this. There's nothing gonna stop me.
And it hasn't, has it?
No, I said no. You must have a burning desire first.
Yeah.
So
I want to ask you about something else that you said in your book, or that you speak to in your book about learning and teaching at the same time. I thought that was beautifully said, because one of my teachers always said, we teach what we need to learn. And so there is that aspect of circulation.
It is that everyone is your teacher. Either they're confirming, inspiring, they're doing all of that simultaneously when you see them.
Mhm.
Usually people say, I'm the teacher. I say, okay, what are you learning though? What
Yeah.
are you learning simultaneously? So when you get to that point, again, like water flows very humble. The more you know, the more humble you become. Because
Mm.
you're dealing with the divine energy. Water is divine, the sun is divine, the moon is divine. So once you take on the character of water, it includes, it purifies, amplifies, but it's always flowing down. Why
Mhm.
does it flow up naturally? It flows down. It doesn't flow down.
It
So
takes the easy route.
yeah, but also it's always running down to go up.
Mhm.
That's a very powerful philosophy of energy. If you want to go down, you want to go ahead and go down. So be willing to be low, they go high. Because the way down, you're looking out, you know everything. You don't have no judgment. You just being.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's a powerful thing being.
Thank you. That's lovely. So another kind of way that you tie a lot of things together. In other words, you take this and you put it with that.
Yes.
And I was struck with that as over and over again. You talk about giving unconditionally and receiving unconditionally with gratitude. And
Yes.
that to me is the circulation, which is which is everything. We breathe in and we receive and we breathe out and we exhale that which the green life needs, our carbon
Yes.
dioxide. So
Yes.
everything is that sense of circulation. So, but in terms of that giving and receiving, I'd love for you to speak to that.
Well, let's go back to, I would love to talk more about that, and I will right now. Be talking about once you understand energy,
Mhm.
the law of energy, and you create your own energy.
Mhm.
A question, are you aware of what you're sending? Are you aware of what you're doing?
Mm.
Because whatever you send returns to you. There's no human law can change that law of energy. So
Mhm.
become conscious of your ever-present state of thought. What are you sending? Are you sending expansive or contracting thoughts to your body or to other people?
Mhm.
So that means you have to become conscious of yourself, of your breath. You're speaking of breath, and I ask people, do you know your number one priority? They say, no, I don't. Oh, it's very simple, sir. It's your breath. Without your breath, you don't be in this physical world.
Mhm. Mhm.
Without this breath, you don't get the relaxation, purification, and you
Right.
don't. So breath is very important for me. So the question is, are you aware how you use your thought to send your energy out?
Mhm.
And once you have a real clear understanding about what you desire, you understand the law of energy, then your life change because you start putting things in the cosmic bank, energy bank. Because whatever you send returns to you.
Mhm.
Actually, what kind of thoughts are you depositing right now to yourself and other people?
Yeah. So if there's judgment, if there's gossip, you also talk about gossip. If
Yeah,
there's comparison, that's what you're putting out there.
that's why coming back to you. And
Mhm.
you would be around people who have that frequency.
Mhm.
That's where to test yourself. Just look around and say, let me take a good look around myself, who I hang around with.
That's
Look
your
around.
picture. That's your feedback, isn't it?
Yeah, that is your frequency for attraction.
Yeah.
Because and once you understand that there's no one to blame, I don't believe in no blaming.
Mhm.
I blame I call it people who is on the inner path. They take responsibility. When something come up, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Mhm.
Don't blame from it. You have to graduate from it. When you graduate from it, it's never happened again. In relationship, I say, when you got a divorce, I say, okay, what kind of divorce you get? You say, I said, you got a legal divorce. Okay, what about emotional, mental, spiritual, sexual divorce?
Mhm.
What do you mean? I said, you got a legal, then there's the energetic divorce.
Right. Right. The energy of it is the essential piece.
Yeah. And I said, until you get an inner divorce, you still connected. Okay, sir?
Mhm.
I said just like that. So I teach people, I said, look at this Earth. Planet Earth is a big, big, big schoolroom. And you get lessons all the time.
Mhm.
Imagine you in a university or grade school, whatever school you are, you don't go to the next grade until you graduate from
Mhm.
next. Why am I saying this? Because once you graduate from a situation, it doesn't bother you anymore. That person can come around you all the time. It was no effect on you because you graduated. I tell people with the college, once you go back to high school, they look at me. I just finished college, Dr. Hannah. I said, yeah, go back to high school. They said, I'm teaching you a point. Once you graduate, you're through with it. Mentally, spiritually. You don't have no feelings. You don't have that. If you do, you still carry the residual. Always send love and let go. Send love and let go. And be thankful that you graduated.
I used to have a teacher that would talk about we got to go back to the ABCs because
Yes.
we missed because we're well educated. We're so focused on that part of ourselves that we're way out there on that, but we've forgotten some of the basics because we leapt over those. And
Yes.
we need to learn, remember, however you want to speak to it, those fundamentals about how life works, what's
Yes.
possible,
Yes.
how energy works. And we can think, oh, that's not the ABCs, but those are the things we actually did know when we came into the world and we forgot.
Mhm. I totally agree with that. The basic is one is to respect yourself, respect breath. Most people have to take it for granted. The simple, powerful thing we take for granted. Your breath can help you with terms of your disease, your relaxation, your creativity, your breath with creative imagination can help you. So it's important to go back to the basic, understand you're always creating your own reality. There's no one else's fault.
And that's why I was using the word feedback before, that if you look around at your life, that's the feedback of what you're carrying and what you're putting out there.
Totally correct. And again, it's having the courage to be honest, be an onlooker to yourself. And most people depend on, let's go back to I say shine. Let's talk about glow a little bit. The glow like the moon, you had to be absolutely honest. What I mean is, I said, are you more connected to your spiritual self? Well, that's a good, are you more connected to your emotional self, your mental self, your physical self? Which one are you really, which one you think is better? You understand? I'm thinking real detail. Which one you think your intellectual is better than your emotion? Your physical better than that? Tell me the reason when you think that. They all need to be in one balance. And people come to me, I have to help them balance their energy. Too much spiritual, no good. Too much physical, no good. Too much this, no good. I have a lot of people that I teach who happen to be, have they advanced degrees. I say, I can't teach you. You say, what? Because you're still stuck in one position. You stuck in intellectualization rather than dealing with your heart, open it up. Your heart must be open first. Because I teach Tai Chi, I teach spiritual Qigong, and I teach energy. The people open up. And a lot of these people who have advanced degrees have a hard time opening up to something that's not, they can't analyze like that.
So that linear way of being gets in the way of the moreness.
Yes. The moreness and the being in the, I call it the isness. Are you in the is in the present right now?
Okay. Okay.
So all divine is isness, not ifness. Let's deal with what it is right now. You're not dealing with isness right now. It is. We're dealing with this energy right now. Let's stay with this. Let's be is. Let's be present. And so you need to be balanced between your bodies. Then you can glow. Otherwise, you get stagnated. Well, I work out all the time. Oh, I meditate and pray all the time. I say all of those are good. But which one are you balanced though? I'm just kind of point out our balance to be radiant, to be healthy. You need to have balance.
Okay, let me ask you something about that, because I will often use the word balance, and I speak about that a lot. However, I had someone on the show once who was talking about there is no such thing as balance. You can't have balance because balance implies the ability to stay still. And that's impossible. We're either moving in centropy or in entropy. And so that made sense to me. And so I've kind of watched, even as I start talking about balance, because you're also talking about the river, and the river's always flowing.
Yeah, the flow is flowing in the balance the way it's moving in the oneness also. That oneness of the flow is a balance within. So it's a dynamic. You can have I teach Tai Chi to teach people balance. You
Right.
have to move in balance.
Mm-hmm.
Can't overthink it, you can't overfill it, you can't overbe it. So there's a moving balance
So it's
there.
a dynamic, you just said a dynamic balance.
It's a dynamic balance, not a static balance. Static balance versus dynamic balance is different. And once you can understand dynamic balance, I mean, it's amazing to have dynamic balance because anywhere you could be in balance. And you have to have an inner trust on all your bodies though to have that.
Ooh.
You understand that? You must have an inner trust to have that inner dynamic balance. Because I would teach in a class, I teach every Thursday night class. Some of these people, advanced people, intellectually advanced, but they can't because they kind of count this. I said, no, let it flow. But
so
I can't
going
get
inside for that
yes,
essence,
yes,
that movement.
yes. Yeah, but so the entropy and all of that, I said, no, it's a dynamic balance. Dynamic balance, you can a static balance and a dynamic balance. The question is, who know how to go between each one? That's the real one. Can you go between the static and dynamic, still keep your balance? So they know in martial arts, you determine that have the inner state of harmonies. Regardless of what's going on around you, you can't let your emotional mind react to a feeling. Your intellectual mind kind of analyze what somebody else is doing. You just stay calm within your own balance. You understand? So breath is part of that. So static and dynamic balance.
Thank you. Thank you for fleshing that out.
Yes.
Yeah,
Those are big, it's a big difference in terms of that. And if you go to the ocean, the rocks stand in the water goes against it, but there's a balance there, even the rock city there. So, well, there's a balance. So how do you find that balance? Start inside with yourself. You got several bodies. Are they in balance? So want to say, I can't do that, but my feelings over here. I'm thinking this way. It started analyzing that. Then went to intellectual already. Went to intellectual. But dynamic balance, static balance is different. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Something that seems to be so true for me is, or so true in the world, is that more and more people are what I call waking up.
Yes.
There is that sense of kind of mass waking up of both the upheaval that comes from that, of things that have not been working, breaking apart, falling down, and we can focus on that. And I choose to see it as an expression of this kind of mass waking up. But how do you see that being expressed in the world today?
I say that chaos is a definitely move towards the oneness. I think this is a cleansing, this is chaos. I see it that way. It would be the upheaval. It would be people feeling frustrated with the old ways not working. Got to be some frustration, irritability with that. I see COVID to me represented a lot of that. The whole world comes and what's going on? The whole world is affected, So there's a cleansing process. And I tell people, if the water look clear on the top, now let's boil the water. Let's boil the water and see what comes to the top. Do you see any impurities there? All those impurities must come out. We got too many things of generation to generation of need to be flushed out. And I'm saying, we're seeing chaos, we're seeing anger, we're seeing violence, we're seeing disease, we're seeing everything all over the galaxy, over the planet. And I said, that's why I said, shine, glow, flow. Do you have sunshine love? Because you need to love yourself. That's right out, going all the way out. Too many people have the delusion of separatism from the energetic point of view. Mistake. As we continue to do all that flushing out, we will recognize there is a universal one. The cosmic is going to a change right now. We're coming from the summer to the autumn. When you go from that, that's cleansing, the upheaval, things like that. The earthquakes and disease is coming. It's already here. So we know, if you look at it from a ancient point of view, we know the earth changes over so many 100,000 years. We went to one cycle from the summer to winter. Winter symbolizes metal. Metal symbolizes in the human body respiratory disease. So right now, why you think so many diseases respiratory? Because we go into autumn and people controlled by the lung, which is controlled by metal. That's what
yeah, that's my old acupuncture days from the five
yes,
element theory.
that's the same thing right here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do acupuncture as well. Like I'm saying,
Hmm.
the metaphysical part is deeper. You say, well, we went from summer to autumn, from
Hmm.
fire to metal. When you have a lot of melting, you got the COVID, everything respiratory right now. Like people's dying from it.
Hmm.
It's a metal. That's a cosmic change. That's energetic change.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, yes.
Wow. There's just so many things that we've touched on through this conversation. And what I would love for you to speak to, if you would, is how do people work with you? And then also, how can people find you?
Well, they can find me. I'm sorry to say the desire, number one desire to find me. And also you can go to my website, handlesholisthealing.com. People work with me in groups. People work with me by organization. Individually, they work with me on all different levels. They could work with me,
Okay.
Uh, I love being in groups of 20 or 30 or more because when I get in, I'm gonna feel the room. I'm gonna feel the energy when I walk in.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I might come in one agenda and say, "Oh, the energy shifted. I got to talk about this, right? So let's get this cleaned up a little bit." So I
Got to
like
be
that.
in the moment.
In the moment, I got to be in the moment because, like people got pen and paper. I said, "No, no, let's just connect a little bit from the heart." But
Hmm.
so that's why you can get in contact with me with that, and
Okay.
that's the main thing for right now. I got a lot of Instagram, those kind of things coming out for me.
Yeah,
But
but
right
your
now,
website is your home, and that will be in the show notes as well.
yeah.
And what can people find on your website?
Well, for right now is they can find me, how they can get in contact with me. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna try to buy my book. My second book is I will be my first book has been put together again in Malaysia. My very first book. They're doing
Hmm.
that right now as well. Also, I'm doing an online course of this book that you read. There'll be an online course pretty soon. And talk about with Jackie. We talk about a master class coming up in regards to that week on a monthly basis. So those
Hmm.
things all is coming up right now for me. That's what's happening right
Wonderful. Wonderful.
now.
Wow.
As I said, I was stepping out into my thumbprint, and I said, it just when I start to do something, I do it. I'm a DIN. Let's do it now. Let's go and get it done.
Yeah.
So all these things in the fire right now. It's happening. But the main
Hmm.
contact me personally right now is my website. They want to buy the book is there, and I have other things you can look at. It's already there.
And you just said, you're living into your thumbprint.
Yes.
Explain what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is, if you look around, that's 8 to 9 billion people in the world, but no one has the same thumbprint. No one have it. That's a divine unique. Like you have your own thumbprint. You have your own gift. Do you have the courage to shine your gift? And I'm
Mm.
saying, I stepped up, said, I'm gonna shine mine. So I'm gonna say, right, I'm gonna do what I can because I like shining my gift. I'm loving it. And so you have to go beyond being comfortable in your fear at first. Then let your feeling uncomfortable and in a way fearful be a inspiration for you to keep going. It's just an inspiration because the ego does not want you to change. No, you're doing good. Why you want to change? I said, no, I'm gonna change. It does not want you to change. And so you're doing it like that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I have a friend who was selling T-shirts at an event a couple of weeks ago. Something about being comfortable doesn't allow you to shine your light. I mean, essentially that wasn't the words, but it doesn't allow you to share what you're here to share. It doesn't allow you to be in your purpose
Yes,
because
I agree with that.
comfort is highly overrated.
Yeah, I mean, you can enjoy but keep on moving. That's the main way to feeling comfortable. As long as you expand into your oneness with everyone else. As long as you
Mm.
expand, that's part of your comfort. You said, are you helping humanity? What are you doing? What are you really
Mhm.
doing?
Mhm.
That's to me shining my light. It's just joyfulness for me to do it. And
Yeah.
like to talk to you and to talk to people and like, okay, ask me any question. I keep on going. Just keep asking me a question and talking about it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Paul Hanna, for your brilliance, your light, your flow, and for sharing your wisdom with us.
Yes, I'll thank you for having me. Thank you. It's
Uh,
co-created. It's a co-creation.
It is absolutely a co-creation, and you have been the kind of quintessential guest to co-create with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let me
And
know how I
thank
can,
you to go ahead.
let me know how I can help you expand your light.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
And thank you to our listening audience, our viewing audience, for being with us today here at Wisdom Talk Radio. Join us here regularly for more wisdom, discovery, and illumination. You can find us on your favorite place to listen to podcasts. And we're also now on YouTube, so please go check us out on YouTube. And if you've enjoyed being with us today, excuse me, wow, please leave us a review, because that helps more people to access the wisdom, to access their own wisdom. And that's what transforms the world. And that's what we're here and all about. And for more about deepening your connection with your own inner guidance, take the Quantum Connection Quiz today over at the Baca Institute.
Thanks for joining us here at Wisdom Talk Radio. We wish you well in your conscious explorations. For more information and to join in the conversation, our website is wisdomtalkradio.com or at Wisdom Talk Radio on Facebook.